The sticky secret that almost ruined his jam empire. Until his son's shocking return. Oh, my dear friends, gather close with your warm horchata and a plate of fresh tamales, because today I have a story that will squeeze your heart like ripe mangoes in a boiling pot. Can you believe it? A man who spent decades shuffling papers in a stuffy office suddenly finds himself knee-deep in sticky chaos, fighting for his future with nothing but family recipes and a dream. But underneath that sweet surface hides a secret buried for 30 years, a secret that threatens to turn his little jam kitchen into a battlefield of broken hearts and shattered jars. How could one laid-off office manager's simple pivot lead to tears, betrayal, and a festival that nearly destroyed everything? Stay with me, because this tale of reinvention at 58 will have you laughing through your sobs and cheering for second chances. Let's dive in. Picture this. It was a warm autumn morning in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside Mexico City, the kind where bougainvillea blooms vibrantly and neighbors wave over colorful fences. Mr. Eduardo Ramirez, 58 years old, had always been the reliable one. For 35 years he managed the accounts at a bustling insurance firm downtown. Crisp shirts, neat ties, endless spreadsheets. Stability, he used to say with a gentle smile while sipping his morning café de olla, that's what matters at our age. But then came the layoff notice. Just like that, after decades of loyalty, the company restructured. Eduardo stood in his kitchen that evening, staring at the pink slip, his hands trembling as he absent-mindedly stirred a pot of his late abuela's mango chili jam recipe. The sweet spicy aroma filled the air, wrapping around him like a hug from the past. Little did he know, this humble jar of jam would become the center of a drama that would rip open old family wounds and test everything he thought he knew about love, forgiveness, and starting over. Eduardo's late abuela had passed 10 years earlier, leaving behind a worn notebook filled with her secret family recipes from their Mexican roots, recipes she claimed came from her grandmother in a small village in Oaxaca. These jams aren't just fruit and sugar, mi hijo, she used to whisper while they cooked together. They hold the sweetness of survival. Eduardo had cherished that notebook like a treasure. Now, unemployed and with bills piling up like fallen leaves, he decided to honor her memory. Why not turn the spare bedroom into a small home-based jam business? Jam by Eduardo, he called it with a chuckle. He pictured himself at local markets, chatting with seniors over samples, maybe even finding a bit of joy after years of fluorescent lights and deadlines. Oh, how innocent it started. In the beginning, it was pure comedy, the kind that makes you laugh until your sides ache. Eduardo, who could barely boil water without burning toast, dove headfirst into his new venture. The first batch? Disaster. He misread the pectin measurements, and the mango chili jam boiled over like a volcano, coating every surface in sticky orange goo. Ay, Dios mío. He groaned, slipping on the floor and landing with a splat, his favorite apron now a sugary mess. His rival neighbor, Mrs. Gloria Torres from next door, a sharp-tongued 62-year-old retired baker who had always bragged about her award-winning preserves, peeked over the fence and cackled. Looks like someone's kitchen exploded. Better stick to spreadsheets, Eduardo. She had her own jam stall at every local event, and she wasn't about to let this newcomer steal her spotlight. But Eduardo persevered, friends. He spent nights experimenting, burning more batches than he cared to count, nervously nibbling on churros as he tweaked recipes. One evening, after another sticky failure, he sat alone at the table, a silent cup of horchata steaming in front of him. Memories flooded back, flashbacks to his abuela's warm kitchen, the two of them laughing as they sealed jars together. There were uneasy silences in those memories too, hints of something unspoken. His abuela had once mentioned a family rift from the old village, but she always changed the subject with a sad smile. Eduardo pushed the thought away. This was his fresh start. As weeks turned into months, word spread in the neighborhood. Eduardo's jams, once disasters, began to shine. The pineapple habanero blend had a subtle fire that reminded folks of vibrant summers past. Seniors at the community center raved about the guava ginger that warmed their souls on cooler days. Sales trickled in online and at pop-up markets. Eduardo felt alive again, reinventing himself with laughter amid the chaos. But brewing underneath was resentment from Mrs. Gloria. She started spreading little rumors. His recipes are stolen, you know. No originality. Subtle hints, nostalgic jabs during neighborhood gatherings where plates of tamales were passed awkwardly. Eduardo felt the unease but focused on his craft. Then came the big opportunity, the annual Harvest Festival, a major local event drawing thousands, with prize money and exposure that could launch his tiny business into something sustainable. Eduardo poured his heart into preparations, perfecting his signature Abuela's legacy mango chili jam. He even reached out to his estranged son, Miguel, now 32 and living across the city after a painful falling out years ago. A simple text, "Thinking of you, Mijo. Entering a festival with Abuela's recipes. Would love your thoughts." No reply. The silence stung like overcooked jam. The slow burn built, dear viewers. Eduardo worked late into nights, flashbacks showing the growing distance with Miguel, arguments over Eduardo's long work hours, missed soccer games, the divorce that left scars. "You were never there, Papa," Miguel had shouted once before storming out, slamming the door so hard the frame cracked. Eduardo buried the pain in his jam pots, but the secret from the past lingered. What was that hidden letter his abuela had once shown him briefly, mentioning a lost inheritance and a family betrayal involving a forged document from Oaxaca? He had dismissed it as her aging mind, but now doubts crept in during quiet moments, nervously stirring his horchata. Can you feel the tension rising? Every few minutes, another emotional beat, Eduardo wiping sweat and jam from his brow after a near-miss scalding, whispering to the empty kitchen, "Abuela, if only you could see this." As festival day approached, Eduardo's kitchen became a war zone of boiling pots and labeled jars. Mrs. Gloria's sabotage began subtly. One morning, he found his pectin supply tampered with, diluted, ruining a massive batch. Sticky disasters multiplied. He confronted her over the fence in a heated scene that had neighbors peeking from windows. "How could you, Gloria? We're both just trying to make ends meet at our age." Voices raised, old wounds ripping open. Gloria shot back, "You think you can waltz in with your fancy family recipes and take my customers? I've built this for years." She slammed her back door, leaving Eduardo standing there, heart pounding, a plate of untouched comfort mold growing cold on his table. Tears, angry tears, welled up as he cleaned the mess alone. The first half of our story simmers like that, friends, resentment building, subtle hints of deeper pain, nostalgic flashbacks to better family times when Miguel was young and they'd share sweet jam on pan dulce after school. Eduardo's perseverance shone through community support. Kind Senora Patel from down the street dropped off fresh fruits and encouragement, sharing her own stories of midlife pivots over shared horchata. We reinvent or we wither, Eduardo. Hold on. But oh, the second half explodes. At the festival booth setup, disaster struck. Eduardo's prize batch of mango chili jam had been swapped with a spoiled version, labels tampered, contents off. Sabotage. The judges were about to taste it when chaos erupted. Eduardo's voice cracked as he defended his work, "This isn't mine. Someone's trying to destroy me." Mrs. Gloria stood nearby, feigning shock, but her eyes betrayed her. Then, around the turning point, the shocking revelation hit like a thunderclap. Miguel appeared unexpectedly at the booth, looking worn but determined. "Papa. I came because of Abuela's notebook." In a gasp-inducing twist, Miguel revealed he had the missing letter, the major secret from the past. It wasn't just a family recipe book. Eduardo's abuela had hidden a truth for decades. The lost inheritance was actually a valuable original recipe patent from Oaxaca, forged away by a greedy relative who had betrayed the family, leading to their struggles. The letter proved the recipes legally belonged to Eduardo's line, and Mrs. Gloria? She had discovered a copy years ago through a mutual acquaintance and had been using variations while plotting to claim credit at the festival. "She's been sabotaging you to cover her theft, Papa. I found the evidence in old emails after your text." "I'm sorry I stayed away so long." Gasps from the crowd. Tears flowed, bitter tears from Eduardo as decades of hidden betrayal poured out. All this time, the secret she guarded even from me. Miguel and Eduardo embraced amid the festival noise, angry tears turning to relief as the truth unfolded. Mrs. Gloria, confronted publicly, broke down in her own storm of emotion, admitting jealousy over her own failed business dreams and the fear of being forgotten in her later years. Voices raised again in a raw confrontation, doors of opportunity slamming metaphorically as she stormed off, but not before a moment of raw honesty. Through perseverance and community rallying, neighbors pitching in to remake the batch on the spot with shared ingredients and laughter, the day was saved. Miguel, the estranged son, rolled up his sleeves, helping perfect the presentation. Their reconciliation was pure catharsis, sitting on a festival bench, passing a plate of tamales, sharing silent cups of horchata while processing the shock. "I missed you, Mijo. I was buried in work, afraid to fail as a father the way the family secrets haunted us." Miguel replied through joyful tears, "And I was too proud. But your jam, it brought Abuela back. Let's build this together." The climax delivered huge emotional release. Eduardo won second place, not just for the jam, but for the story behind it. The festival crowd cheered as father and son laughed, embracing reinvention. The business boomed afterward, with jam by Eduardo and son becoming a local favorite. Laughter returned to the kitchen, sticky disasters now shared jokes that bonded them closer. Eduardo found not only success but renewed family bonds, proving it's never too late for a humorous midlife pivot filled with heart. In the end, friends, Eduardo stood in his now thriving home kitchen, jars gleaming like trophies, Miguel by his side stirring a new batch. "Life's like jam," he said with a warm smile. "Sweet, messy, but worth every boil." They toasted with horchata, tears of joy flowing freely. What a redemptive journey. Recapping the heart of this tale, a 58-year-old laid-off office manager turns family recipes into a home jam business amid hilarious kitchen chaos and neighbor rivalry. Sabotage at the big festival uncovers a 30-year family secret of betrayal and forgery. Through confrontation, shocking truth, tears, and son's return, he achieves business success and family healing. A story of perseverance and laughter in later life reinvention. Comment your own family story below. Have you faced a midlife pivot or hidden secret that changed everything? Share and let's support each other. This is fiction inspired by real-life events for entertainment. Facts are based on provided information or general knowledge.